2025 Toyota Corolla XSE hatchback.
Yep.
Start with the outside, the styling.
Okay.
Clean look, basically carried over from the 2023 refresh.
Not a huge surprise there. Toyota tends to stick with designs for a bit.
True. We're talking LED projector headlights, those LED daytime running lights, and then the black headlight housings and grille give it a bit of an edge.
Mm-hmm. Standard stuff these days, but looks sharp.
The front parking sensors on this XSE trim, didn't really expect them at this price point.
That is interesting. Usually reserved for higher-end models or trims. Maybe Toyota's pushing the value perception. Good for city driving, anyway.
Could be. And more LEDs fog lights, this time with some aluminum trim around them.
Nice touch.
The XSE gets these 18-inch dark gray metallic alloys.
Right, wrapped in Yokohama Avid GTs, all seasons. 200 2540 R18s.
Yeah, and despite those fairly low-profile tires, the ride was surprisingly plush, even over speed bumps.
Huh, that's good to hear. You don't always get that balance. Those 40 series sidewalls can be firm.
So just some decent suspension tuning, right?
Absolutely. Confirms it's got independent suspension all around, front and rear stabilizer bars too. That definitely helps soak up bumps better.
Makes sense. Looking at the sides, LED turn signals on the mirrors, body-colored mirrors, and you get blind spot monitoring right there on the glass.
Standard safety feature now, but always good to have.
And smart access, driver and front passenger, convenience thing.
Yep. Expected, but nice.
Then you've got these sort of aggressive rocker panel side skirts, and the rear hips have a subtle flare, hints of the GR Corolla maybe?
Yeah, they definitely borrow a little bit of that GR spice. Makes the standard car look a bit sportier, appeals to more people probably.
A little detail, gas cap release is inside the car. Hidden away.
Okay.
Around back, it's all LED again. Taillights, third brake light. Chrome Corolla badge. Red XSE badge, so you know the trim.
Clean look.
Backup camera tucked under the Toyota logo. And a visible exhaust tip.
It adds a little bit of visual interest back there. Avoids that totally hidden look.
All right, let's talk engine. What's making it go?
Okay, under the hood, it's a 2.0-liter naturally aspirated four-cylinder.
Right, makes, what, 169 horsepower?
169 horsepower, yeah, and 151 pound-feet of torque. Decent numbers for this size car.
And it's paired with a CVT?
A CVT, yes. But it's apparently sport-tuned and has paddle shifters if you want to, pretend to shift gears.
Right. But no more manual option, which I know some people will miss. That's gone for 2025.
Yeah, that's the trend. CVTs are all about fuel economy, mostly. But the sport tuning and paddles are Toyota's way of trying to keep it somewhat engaging. Edmunds confirms those power numbers, by the way.
Good. And naturally aspirated, meaning no turbo or supercharger, just draws air in normally.
Correct. Often means simpler, potentially more reliable long-term, and smoother power delivery.
Estimated the 0-60 time, low 8-second range, said it's actually quicker than the new Civic.
Oh, really? That's pretty respectable.
Yeah.
Gives you a good benchmark against a major rival.
Yeah, they called the engine sound pretty good, and the performance surprisingly peppy, and it takes regular 87-octane fuel.
Always nice not to need premium. Saves a few bucks in the pump.
One little nitpick from the review. No hydraulic struts for the hood, just a manual prop rod.
Yeah. Pretty common in this class, though. Cost-saving measure. Not a deal breaker for most, probably.
Fair enough. Okay, let's open the doors, get inside. Lots of soft touch materials up front, dashboard, door panels.
That makes a big difference in how premium a car feels, doesn't it?
Totally. The one they reviewed had a white interior. Looks sharp, but they did point out, potential for stains.
Yeah, white leather or leatherette looks amazing when new, but kids, coffee. It might be risky.
Yeah. The front armrest was called out specifically. Gushy soft leather.
Comfort matters on longer drives.
You get the usual stuff. 4 one-touch power windows, power locks, power mirrors, aluminum door handles. Oh, and there's an optional JBL sound system.
The upgrade. How much extra was that?
About $4,000 to the price.
Oof. Steep, but JBL usually sounds pretty good. An option for the audiophiles.
The seats in the XSE are a mix, leatherette and cloth. Supposed to be comfy, but also supportive.
Good combo. Breathability from the cloth, bit of plushness from the leatherette.
Driver gets a full power seat, 2-way lumbar, passenger is manual, although wait, 8-way power driver seat is standard on XSE?
Generally, power driver's seat is the key thing.
And overall, the vibe inside called premium, even compared to the GR Corolla, which is more focused on sport.
Makes sense. The standard Corolla needs to appeal more broadly, focus more on comfort and features than pure performance feel.
Steering wheel. Thick, solid feel, lots of buttons. Infotainment, cruise, safety stuff. All right there.
Standard multifunction wheel. Good.
And the gauges are digital, customizable display, the eco indicator.
Nice to have that flexibility. See the info you want.
The main screen is an 8-inch Toyota system. Crucially, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto.
Yes, that's almost essential now.
Right.
So much easier without plugging in.
Totally. There's built-in nav, too, though they couldn't really show it off much in the video. Privacy, you know?
Understood.
You also see some piano black trim accents, which look nice,
And
but...
fingerprint magnets.
Exactly. Dual zone auto climate control, wireless charging pad, heated front seats, all good stuff to have.
Definitely adds to the comfort and convenience. Ticking a lot of boxes for standard features on this trim.
There's even stitching detail on the dash and around the gear selector. Nice little touch.
Trying to elevate the feel.
The CVT selector has that manual mode if you want it. Backup camera has guidance lines, though not trajectory lines that move with the wheel.
Static lines. Still helpful.
Drive mode selector. Eco, Sport, Normal. Electronic parking brake, plus auto hold, very handy in traffic.
Oh yeah, auto hold is great. Saves your foot.
2 cup holders, decent center console storage. Glove box is damped, feels nice and pretty big.
Good practical touches.
LED interior lights. Sun visors have extenders, but the visors themselves don't slide out further.
Okay, minor point.
And one thing missing, maybe surprisingly, no auto dimming rear view mirror. Just the old school manual flip lever.
Huh. Another small cost save, I guess. Most people probably don't even notice day to day, but it's a nice feature to have.
Okay, let's jump at the back. What's it like for passengers?
For the rear seat experience.
Materials change a bit back there. More hard plastics, which is pretty typical. But the armrest is still that gushy, soft material.
Consistency where it counts, maybe. What about features?
Rear passengers get auto one-touch windows too, aluminum handle, 1 cup holder per door. Seats are leatherette trimmed.
Okay, decent.
Now, space. That legroom isn't as good as the Corolla sedan. Not terrible, but if you're tall, say 6'1",
Behind yourself, it might be tight.
yeah, knees might be close to the seat back. And headroom getting in and out is a bit tighter because of the hatchback roofline.
Common trade-off for the hatch style versus the sedan. More cargo flexibility, slightly less rear headroom usually.
But once you're in, headroom seemed okay for folks under 6'2".
So, usable for most adults,
Yeah.
just maybe not ideal for 4 very tall people on a long trip.
Pretty much, you get map pockets, USB-C ports back there, but no dedicated rear air vents, it seems.
Not uncommon in compacts, but vents are always appreciated by rear passengers.
True. LED rear lights, a soft center armrest with 2 bottle holders, and hooks on the grab handles. Little practical things.
Good utility touches. How's the cargo space itself?
Described as a little bit on the tighter side compared to the sedan, and the load floor is kind of high,
Again, typical hatchback stuff. Higher floor often due to suspension packaging.
but hydraulic struts for the liftgate. That's a nice touch, feels more premium.
Oh yeah, definitely better than wrestling with manual struts.
And the wheel wells don't intrude too much, so maybe fitting wider stuff like a TV box could be easier.
Good point. Sometimes those intrusions really limit what you can fit.
There's underfloor storage too, with a spare tile, which is great to see, and
Yeah.
some extra space.
Proper spare, not just an inflator kit. Excellent.
Yep. And these little cutouts in the cargo area, side panels, meant for holding grocery bags upright. Smart.
Very practical. Stops your apples rolling around.
Ah, exactly. And a removable cargo cover for security. Standard stuff.
So, a bit tight maybe, but practical and well thought out cargo area.
Seems like it. Now, the important part. How does it actually drive?
Yeah, the on-road experience.
Ride quality got praised again. Good for a compact hatch. Handles speed bumps well, we mentioned that earlier.
Consistent feedback there.
Throttle response. Okay at low speeds. That CVT effect, maybe, makes the initial takeoff feel a bit longer.
Could be. CVTs sometimes have that slight delay or rubber band feel, though they've gotten much better.
Cabin was quiet, though. That's a plus.
Definitely improves the driving experience, especially on commutes or highways.
Steering in normal mode, solid, direct. Then in sport mode, it gets noticeably heavier.
Good to have that option. Some prefer lighter steering for parking, heavier for highway stability or twisty roads.
And the engine, once you get on it, delivers strong power for a 2.0 Alito 4-cylinder.
Epi, as they said.
Sport mode holds revs longer, makes it feel more eager, and the paddle shifters were actually responsive, even did rev matching on downshifts.
Oh, nice. Rev matching adds a bit of smoothness and sporty feel when you're using the paddles.
Brakes felt good too, confident stopping.
All sounds pretty positive from a driving dynamics perspective. Balanced.
It does. One note on safety systems, lane keep assist is active at highway speeds. but you need to use your turn signal, otherwise it'll try to pull you back if you drift over the line intentionally.
Standard operation for most lane keep systems. Reminds you to signal.
Fair point. Now, noise. They did mention some road noise, especially on concrete pavement, and some wind noise. Maybe thinner window glass?
Possible. Noise insulation is one area where manufacturers often try to save cost and weight in more affordable cars. It's a trade-off.
Eco mode, as you'd expect, numbs the throttle response quite a bit. Wants to get into higher gears ASA for fuel saving.
Maximizing MPGs. Makes sense for cruising.
But the ride quality stayed excellent, even at highway speeds across all modes.
Good consistency.
The heavier steering in Sport, but felt the transmission tuning in Sport might be a bit too aggressive, holding revs maybe longer than needed for just normal daily driving.
Yeah, sport modes can sometimes feel a bit hyperactive if you're just commuting. Best save for when you actually want that responsiveness.
And obviously, fuel economy takes a hit in Sport. Eco is where you'll get closest to that EPA number, is 34 mpg combined for the XSE.
Pretty solid number for a non-hybrid compact.
So the overall takeaway from the review: feels premium, loaded with features, reliable naturally aspirated engine, and good value. The tested price was under $30 with options and destination.
That does sound like a strong value proposition. Under 30 grand for a well-equipped, potentially fun-to-drive hatch.
Body roll was limited, good torque around 2,000 RPM. They even compared its performance favorably to the Mazda 3 with the bigger 2.5-liter engine.
High praise. The Mazda 3 is often seen as a benchmark for driving dynamics in this class.
Okay.